tuned into Gila Nehemia Sacred Erotic Poetry, Sacred Sexuality, and Ascension podcast. It is April 17th, right after the full moon in Libra, so I have a lot to share, and I'm excited about this new chapter we're all entering into, and I am so grateful that you are here. So, let's take 3 deep breaths to open this sacred circle of transmission. So I'd invite you to close your eyes as long as you're not driving. Set up a sacred space, pause the video to light a candle, burn some incense, sit on your yoga mat, just relax. So let's take 3 deep breaths from your belly up. Calling in our angels, our guides, our deep heart wisdom, our sacral chakra wisdom, our ancestors, God, Source, Universe, Holy Mother, Holy Father, the deep womb of Mother Gaia, the stars, the roots of the trees, the jasmine flowers, Louisa, sacred herbs, to bless this transmission, to assist us in opening up to new paradigms and new perspectives as we begin to walk into this new chapter and release the old. Aho, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I hope your week was great, or it was enlightening. I know I had a very challenging few weeks, and I realized that I had a lot of stress that was stored in my body, and it became very, very stiff. And so I have committed to myself to now do a really short practice in the morning that I had been doing for many years and had stopped for the last several months to do yoga again in the morning, breathing exercises, some chanting, yoga nidra. And, none of these things have to take a very long time. You can sometimes when you have time, do it longer, and when you don't have as much time, to do it shorter. The key is to get back into your center and to relax. And I feel like that has been a big lesson for me as we're in this full moon energy of harmonizing and understanding what my needs are, what my visions are, and allowing myself to receive it. Surrender has always been a big word that I repeat many times, though I feel like as much as we surrender and as much as we feel like we've healed, there's always more to let go. Stress, I feel, is also control. We want to control the way an outcome is, or we want to try to be the best that we are, and we'll sacrifice our body even if that's what it means. Sometimes for some people, I know I was in that trajectory until I just had to literally say I needed a mental health break and really just take care of myself. But I feel like I had a massage this past week and it was really good. I did cupping. If any of you have ever done cupping, I think it's highly recommended if you feel like a little bit stressed out or extremely stretched out, just to kind of cleanse your blood and release any kind of tension, to let go of the mental patterns. It took me some time to totally acclimate to it. I think the body, as the body's healing, our emotional and mental bodies are healing. at the same time, and it could be vice versa too. So it's this constant dance, and I feel like this, Libra full moon about harmony. It's also Venus, I believe, is in Aries. There's like a lot of astrological things happening. I read somewhere like it was 166 years about something. It was just like all sorts of different things are happening that have never happened before. And of course it's Ramadan, it's Passover, it's Easter Sunday today. As in every lunar cycle, they usually occur around the same time. And then the solar eclipse is happening in a couple of weeks at the end of the month. It's at the same time as a new moon that's coming up. So it's the eclipse gates are open. So it's really a time of full transformation, really cleansing ourselves of the old chapter. I've seen so many images in my mind of the past, and the good and the bad, or this, the challenging moments and the wonderful moments, however you want to use the words, have been flashing through me, in my mind, in my feelings, in my emotional body, and I'm just like witnessing it. I'm allowing myself to witness it, and allowing myself to do whatever I need to recharge. Just like your crystals recharge, and the moon and the sun, recharge yourself with whatever it needs. If it needs coaching, go for coaching. If it needs healing under the moonlight and the sunlight, go for it. Water, fresh fruits and vegetables, yoga, meditation, just allow yourself to do it. Sometimes we put these things off because we're like, oh, we don't have time. Well, really, I feel like I'm saying it to myself, so I feel like I need to also say it to all of you who are listening. It's like, take the time. I know I've sang this song, but it's like, take your time, 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 take your time. And it's really important to take the time, even when we work really hard. I know as a writer, I always have to step away for a week, for a month, for a day. I need to step away from my work because I'm too involved in it. And I feel like that's what stress is, right? We get too involved in something and we get really connected to an outcome. It can even be a stressful relationship, right? Because like, let's say you want a child and it's not working out, or you want more of something and your partner's not giving it to you, or you're not happy and you keep keep like thinking about it. And like, sometimes you need to take action, yes, and sometimes we just need to let it go and be like, okay, it is what it is. Can I accept the situation or can I not? What do I need to do? If I don't know what to do, I just ask the universe, tell me what to do, bring me the next step, because I don't really know. And sometimes we're in that spot, and it's okay. It's okay to be in whatever spot you're in, and to just allow yourselves to revel in the journey and in the process. Because harmonizing, the scales being in equilibrium, it's not just about ourselves, right? I had to consciously, all of I live in a very challenging environment. I live in Israel, and I've been seriously thinking about where am I going to live next in the country, and I had to really make a conscious decision about my own values, because I believe in peace between all nations, especially in this country, and I really want to live peaceably with whomever is my neighbor, and they don't have to be of a certain religion or of a certain faith or of a certain anything. I would like to be in a like-minded community where people are open to a variety of different possibilities, but there is a sense of respect and love and communication, and as a philosophy of oneness. I mean, that is my true desire, because I feel like when we create separation, then there is separation, So am I trying to say that I don't want to live next to someone who is hateful? Yes, I guess I am saying that. Am I creating separation by saying that? I don't know. It's something I need to think about. It's a self-inquiry question, that I need to connect with. Do I feel like that kind of environment is conducive to me, will help me to grow and help others to grow? Yes, I do, for my children as well as my animals and myself. I do. So I really had to think about where is my next move. I usually just let the divine take me, and it's usually taken me to amazing, amazing situations. Though I felt like this time I am co-creating with the divine, right? It's like we can completely surrender, and that is cool, and sometimes we are co-creating, we are manifesting, we are consciously creating. So I feel like I'm in this conscious creation of really defining what my mission is, where I'm going, but at the same time not really knowing if that's exactly it, and allowing things to come in, really being in this receptive mode. And I feel like the full moon allows us to release and then to become open to receive. It's a process, right? Like every time the full moon happens, we're releasing in order to receive more for the new moon. But this process is ongoing. And as you move with the moon phases and stages, as well as the current energies, your receptivity opens up, your releases, the release of things or people or patterns within yourself are more attuned to the energy. I was awake at the middle of the night. I was dancing in the moonlight, dancing in the moonlight. It was really fun, and it was just nice for me to also just lie in the sun, and understand that we, including me, may not necessarily know why we are in a certain place, what we are doing here, and I feel like it's not necessarily meant to, at least for me, not necessarily meant to make a change at the moment in terms of my country. I'm currently in this country. I feel like I'm going to stay in this country for a little while, and to just allow the meaning to emerge. I feel like that's an important point. Sometimes, we're searching for meaning, or we are asking for it to be revealed to us, and we're not really sure how. And this illumination of this full moon, as we're moving into the solar eclipse in the next couple of weeks, is allowing it to unfold. Allowing it to just take the steps, to know the short steps, right? We may not be able to see the end of the marathon, but we know where we're sprinting towards. And even if you don't know where you're sprinting towards, you're still in motion. So be in motion. If there's some action you need to take right now, take the action. And we don't have to always know what the end, and we keep the end in mind, right? The vision, as I said last time, we keep the vision in mind, and we allow it to unfold in its own time without the control and the anxiety. And I feel like that's an important point, because the stress is not created by something outside of us. The stress is created within ourselves. And as soon as we can let go of the anxiety, and sometimes we need a little bit of stress to move, to take an action, or to make a decision, or to get excited about something. We need that kind of adrenaline rush, oh yeah, that's good, I need to get there, I want to get there, I'm excited to get there. And it could be anything, right? I'm excited to open the new business, I'm excited to meet the new person, I'm excited to take the next trip, I'm excited to go to the restaurant, it's just this adrenaline, whoa, this is fun. It's the same kind of feeling. But when you feel it like a heaviness, or your body's telling you to rest and you don't know how, just take those moments of rest. Maybe it's 10 minutes here and 30 minutes there. Maybe it's hours and hours of sleep. I don't know. what's right for you. You know. So this podcast is about listening to you, and understanding that there are situations in the environment. I feel like, collectively I'm hearing, oh, there's this situation is happening and that situation is happening and it's affecting me. And it is, we're empaths, right? And it does affect us. We do take that energy in, though I think understanding how to cleanse it and to understand when those triggers are happening or those patterns of happening of like, you feel like it's too much or you don't want to continue to exist anymore. Like these are heavy questions and these are heavy, heavy feelings. And we need to connect with that. We need to reach out for help when we're in those places and spaces, and not to wallow in that in our by ourselves, because we need each other to grow. We need each other to communicate. We need each other to express our creativity and our art. We need each other. And at the same time, we need to remember that whatever it is that we're going through is could be a reaction to something. It could be a feeling that we haven't healed yet. So it's an old wound. It could be bodily trauma, intergenerational trauma that that also hasn't healed or that hasn't been released. So it's still stored in the body. So this particular type of thing that you're doing right now is just, aggravating it or bringing it to the surface for it to be released. I really have been into now body work. I love having massages. I love doing things that are helping me to release my body, because it's not just about talking. It's also, that's why the yoga is important for me, or the massage, or the meditation. Like, these things are important to just like kind of release the body, relax the body, connect into the higher planes. And sometimes speech doesn't do it. It's like sitting outside with my dog and realizing, she's still having some issues with a flea infestation that's in my area, even though I've done a lot of things for her. It's like taking the time to really understand what does she need. As many things that I do, like what more can I do? What more can I do in our environment to assist her? What more can I do for myself to make it more harmonious? And I feel like harmony, like just think about the word harmony. You think of harmony in music, harmony in your life, harmony in your family, harmony with your relationships, harmony in your work, that work-life balance, the harmonious surroundings. There's a lot of ways harmony can exist within ourselves. So as this full moon is sharing with us, like inviting us into more harmony, to see where are the imbalances. As I've always been saying, this divine balance is definitely, union. The universe is one, I think, is that's something I saw on Instagram, what I thought was really nice. And so it's union within ourselves, union within everything that I just mentioned, is super important. There's so many things that we are juggling in our lives, and sometimes it's not really clear how to handle all of it, because sometimes it feels a little bit overwhelming. So we take a piece at a time. So take the time to also thank yourself for all that you have done and where you've come from, because we have come a long way. For all of us that are still alive, that are breathing, that are thankful, that are ascending, awakening together and individually, we've done a lot, in this lifetime and in previous lifetimes. So take that time to to just remember your freedom, your sovereignty. You're liberating yourself. You are rising. You're coming out of that cocoon. It's Easter Sunday, right? And it's the resurrection of Christ. So here we are to see that we can also be resurrected We can allow the old to move through as we move into the spiritual planes. I feel like all of this has so much symbolism for our own lives. I personally believe in, that Jesus was an ascended master, Buddha as well. All of the mythology that I've read in Hinduism and in Greek mythology, I believe they all existed, and they are all here to share with us things and ideas that we may have, and sometimes we question. And I feel like, I really believe that God is within all of us. We have the potential to be more than we are, or we are continually striving for that, and it's not impossible. It's just, what are we willing to go all the way with it, and that can mean many things to many people, and it's again for you to decide. It's again to work into the self-inquiry. This is the time, this full moon is the time to take the time for yourself. You may want to be with a lot of people, but really just make sure you take your time for self-care. That's the biggest thing I want to share in this particular podcast. The way to create harmony, I feel, at least for myself, is to take the time that I need for myself and to understand what my needs are. Because I went to such a level of stress last week that I don't want to repeat that. And I am striving to understand how I can, still fulfill all my responsibilities as well as take the time for myself. And that may be that sometimes I need to, I know definitely I need to create more boundaries, or need to at least let people know if things are going to be, dates are going to be changed, or things have to be done, like I have to do it. Because as much as I have done it, it's still more to do, in terms of boundaries, more to do in terms of how to honor myself more, and my time and my existence. I know I shared that last week, and I feel like it's still a prevailing theme of, how can we really honor our existence on the planet? I know some people feel, personally, I know this, and I've had clients as well like this, where, you just feel like you're done, right? You're done with all of the challenges. There's been just so many, and you just don't want it anymore. I feel that there can be a choice there as well. There is a choice point of like, you can just consciously say, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to experience this anymore. I'm done with this lesson. And I feel like it's very important that you state that, in your writing, in your words, in your art. I'm done with this lesson, because then that feeling that is challenging you, or you're feeling this conflict, or it maybe is even creating stress for you or anxiety. As soon as you say you're done, like, and you feel it again, if you can be aware of that feeling and say, I don't have to feel that way. When I'm aware and I do the practice, whether it's meditation or yoga, or just like be in that feeling and say, okay, I'm going to be aware of this feeling. I'm going to be sitting in this feeling, and I'm going to witness this feeling, so that I know that I'm not going to experience it again, at least in this way. There may be still, slivers of it existing in my emotional body, in my mental body, in my physical body. But to have that awareness that I don't have to think that way, that is a choice. It's a choice, at least for me, to feel like I'm under the gun. Because many times I am creating that. No one's really breathing down my back. In many cases, I am creating goals for myself. I am creating intentions. I am doing all of this, and when I decide, okay, well, why am I trying to control myself in a way that is not necessary? Where I can maybe dial it down a bit and manage it better. Because, essentially we are, like, we're the co-creators of our lives. We are the managers of our own lives. We are the CEOs of our existence, or we can think of it in a more lighter way. We are we're the travelers of our own journey. We get to decide when we turn, when we stop, when we drink, when we eat, when we do everything, right? We can decide consciously, and we can allow things to happen. So not everything has to be a conscious thought, but we can just be aware and allow it to happen and receive it. So when you, at least when I step into that kind of way of thinking, then I don't feel this pressure because it's a feeling. It's a feeling of pressure, and sometimes those feelings of pressure are we're remembering situations where we were under pressure, and that same kind of thought pattern kicks in. Well, what if we decided we don't want that thought pattern? We want a different pattern. We want to open up into a different way of dealing with pressure. So then we start a new habit, a new way of thinking, a new perception of pressure. Perhaps there's no pressure. Perhaps pressure doesn't actually exist, and we are just creating pressure. And when we can step out of that scenario into a different scenario that we're creating anyway. We're all in this. It seems like I'm just talking about these ideological things, but they actually exist in our mind. This is the way that our mind works. It's like it knows how to do this, and so it does this, and our body follows, and our heart follows, and everything follows. But what if we decide, and it's not always mental, right? It could be also from our heart. What if we holistically decide, okay, I'm not going to give in to that frame. And the way I can step out of that frame is by doing X, Y, and Z. So this is, I guess, what I'm sharing as is coming to me, is to give you some steps. Like when you're stepping into a stressful situation, write down what is making you what's making you feel stressed out. Maybe there's a deadline. Maybe there's too much work. Maybe there's a lot of things you don't know. Maybe there's things that aren't clear, and it can be work, it could be relationship, it could be a family member, it could be cleaning your house, any of those things. So write them down, say, okay, what are the things that are creating stress right now? How can I eliminate that? How can I get more clarity on something that's unclear? How can I release the pressure of a deadline? By maybe making it into smaller pieces that are more manageable. Where are the places that I don't understand what to do, and how can I find the steps? Who are the right people to talk to? So I think that will really help to create the structure to reduce the dial of stress. It's a constant balance. It's a constant dance of how do we handle it. But I think the more that we know, and the more that we create structures and practices for ourselves, the less it can affect our daily life. And also, when it happens, who do I go to? Okay, now I know the masseuse to go to for stress that's in my body. But now I'm figuring out, okay, how do I set it up so I don't have to get there? What's the mechanism where maybe I have more massages per week? Maybe I start, things that I've told you that I've already done. What are you doing? How are you handling things? How are you deciding to create harmony in your life right now? What are you releasing today? I'm inviting you to release today. Set an intention today of what you want to release. And either do a ceremony today or later on in the next day or so of a release statement where you burn it, where you tear it up, where you consciously say, I'm done with this. I'm done with having stress in my body. I'm done. I'm done with taking on the world. I'm done. I'm done with things that aren't clear in my life. I'm done. I'm releasing that to the universe to create clarity for me. I am allowing it and receiving it as a sacred blessing. Oh, and so it is. So I'm inviting you into that space of really releasing, sharing your release statements with yourself in front of a mirror, and writing it down, releasing it, And then going through these next few weeks, you're going to see that there's more that you're wanting to create with this solar eclipse, and that's more to come on that energy. Though I feel like this idea of harmony, the feeling of harmony exists within us, and I know you felt it. We've all felt it, because we know when we're in harmony, right, with our body, with our emotions, with our mental states. We know when we feel harmonious, where everything is just flowing, right? And so how can we continue to, when we're not in the state of flow, to get back into the state of flow? And it's a constant work, right? It doesn't end. This is a constant work because we are living on Earth. Maybe this is the work that we are supposed to be doing right now in order to create a new harmonious environment. It first begins with us, inside, the inner work. And so take your time to just one step at a time, one issue at a time. What is challenging you? How can you release it? What are the ways to make it simpler to handle? And do it a little bit at a time. And if you need help, connect with me. I'm here to assist you. I have group coaching programs. I have personal mentoring programs. I have one-on-one quantum healing sessions, all on my website. I'm moving on to Guidely, and I'll be sharing that soon as I set that up. So you can find me there, and by the next session, I'm sure, my next podcast episode, I'll be sharing the link to that. So I'll be with a number of guides and coaches that are helping others to really open up their hearts, and we're doing a lot of great work together. So I'm very, very excited to be on this new platform. More to come on that as I settle down into that. So I'm very excited for all of us to get into this new chapter, but I feel that it's really important to to not forego our practices, to step into our shadows and into the light at the same time, like we're dancing together, right? The shadow is helping us to bring to light some of the things that are repressed, either in our bodies or emotionally or mentally, to bring it into the light and to allow the light to expose it and to see it for what it is, honestly, and to go into self-inquiry. So I'm going to continue to share this pattern of self-inquiry, understanding the internals, and to then take it out in whatever way needs to happen, right? It could be speech, it could be body work, it could be, emotional crying, it could be anything that your body needs and your mind needs and your emotions need. So it's so important to be still and to be present with yourself, because only you know what you need. Only your soul is already guiding you. Just listen. Listen. Listen to the pain. Listen to the wind. Listen to your breath. Listen to the rhythm of your feet and your footsteps. Listen to your heart. Listen to your sacral chakra, your root chakra, your throat chakra, your heart chakra, your third eye. And the chakras, your bindu chakra, on top of your head and above your head, and the earth star chakra beneath you. Listen to all the chakras. Even ask for the chakras to speak to you, because they are listening and they are communicating. But it's up to us to listen and to understand that the mental chatter is mental chatter. It's not the truth. The truth and the way is within you. Oh, and so it is. Have a beautiful, beautiful full moon. Enjoy this energy as we prepare for for this solar eclipse. There's been solar flares as well that's been happening. A lot of energetic change is happening right now. So just allow yourself to receive it.